As we go towards Shirley Street, if you look between the trees here, straight across the street, you will see an octagon-shaped structure, which was the first city jail in 1873. It became the Nassau Public Library Museum. Look to your right, that big and white building, the three-story structure, that was the Irish Curry building. That's where part of the British Air Force lived when they were stationed at Oaksfield Airport during World War II. This was built by Sir Harry Oaks, who was murdered by his son-in-law because he didn't want casinos in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Garden of Memory across the street, the concrete pillar in the center is called the Cenotaph. You have the Supreme Court beyond it. That's the highest court in the land, but not the final court. The final court is the Privy Council. The London building and its colleagues worked for independence, and what they did not towards the third world country, they did not relinquish the Privy Council. They did not to have about this country. So said, so that. You have to show your house right here to your left. This is where you get your license to get married, register of new lands, breaks, debts, so forth and so on. This was actually offshore banking, but things changed over the years. Only bank is right here to my right, owned and operated by the government, the Bank of the Bahamas. Some people call it Bahama. Straight ahead of us is the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The cornerstone was laid by Prince William during our independence, and it was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth back in 1975. Ladies and gentlemen, we have St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, 1810. Right next door to this church is Gregory's Arch, built by J.J. Burnside in 1852, named after Governor Gregory, who was the governor back in 1850. Eventually, the government allowed the Bahamas to use the arch to deliver their goods directly to the marketplace. That's why the street is called Market Street. Ladies and gentlemen, above the arch is the Eastern entrance to the governor's mansion that sits on Mount Prince William. The Honorable Mother Cynthia Pratt, she's the third woman governor general. Look to your right, that big and white building, that's called the Balcony House, 1800. Oldest house in the city, built with American cedar wood. We're also looking at Christ Church Cathedral to our right, 1670. That church is the mother church of the nation. Father Boyd is the Archbishop of the Bahamas and the church in King of Ireland. That church sits on George Street, named after King George. Here is the platform on the staircase where Columbus statue was situated, but I was told that that statue would not be coming back to this property. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, it was purchased by Governor Carmichael back in 1830. Ladies and gentlemen, Columbus, like I said, was a tourist to these shores. Because when he came here, when he got lost in the Atlantic Ocean looking for India, he met the Arawak and Hawaiian Indians on these islands. He named that island Horn of Honey, which means God save our souls. The Guards used to be the police force, but we formed our Bahamas Defense Force after we got our independence in 1975, and the Marines took over from the police force of the guards of the Governor General. The training of the guard is done once a month. This house sits on 4 street corners. Nothing else is on this property. 1844. The first 5-star restaurant and hotel came about. This house was built by a pirate, and the government gave him an ultimatum. Other than that, they were going to put him in jail, but eventually he changed his mind, and this became the first 5-star restaurant in the country called Great Cliff. The dungeons where he kept his captives was one of the best wine cellars in the world, rated 6th in the world. I'm talking about $250,000 to $500,000 for a bottle of wine. People like the Beatles, Sean Connery, Mick Jagger, Queen Latifah, Shaquille O'Neal, and myself have been here over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, this house is more than 300 years of age. As we go across Blue Road and Cumberland Street, this is a one-way, 2-lane from Carmichael Road and South Beach to the downtown area. Back here at the other red light, Market Street is a one-way, 2-lane from downtown to Robinson Road, all done by Hubert Ingram, our second Prime Minister. As we go across here, this is the building which is more than 20 years of age. This was built by a pirate right here to your left. I'm going to slow down so you can take a photo. Ready? You ready? The umbrellas overhead was done by the son. The Greek family that owns Great Cliff owns just about everything you see around here. This is a one-way street. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be up on my street. You'll be up on our right where the bars are. Where that big bus is to your left, you'll see a pink building, which is their chocolate factory, ice cream parlor, and pizza parlor. They also last year opened a moonshine store. Chocolate moonshine, strawberry moonshine, guava moonshine.